Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time. I'm going to do our college football recap and reaction to all of the top 25 games that happened week 8 of the 2025 college football season. It was a crazy week. We had 4 top 10 teams go. I think 8 or 9 overall ranked teams went down. Crazy stuff happened. Let's jump right into the reactions. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. What do you think of the complete chaos we happened this past weekend? If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look at the pinned comment down below. Click on that link, sign up there, and I would appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Friday night, October 17th, we had Louisville playing Miami. Louisville coming in here 4-1. Miami coming in 5-0 undefeated, the number 2 team in the country. Miami goes down, and they go down burning hot. Crash. That was not a good game. Everything that could have went wrong for Miami went wrong. Now Louisville's 5-1. Miami's also 5-1. They're going to be dropping in the polls, obviously. But Miami, this game was well within reach. It was at home, coming off the bye. Miami never plays good off the bye. That's kind of one of those crystal ball things. They never look prepared coming out of the bye week. That reared its head. You thought they got rid of it last year, undefeated after the bye weeks last year. Not so much this year. Carson Beck, 4 picks, especially on that final possession. They were already in field goal range. No reason for any errant throws. No reason to force anything. If it's not there, throw it away. He throws a pick to seal the game down. Miami's going to be falling. Louisville will no doubt be coming into the top 25 here, but what really hurts Miami's here is their destiny got taken out of their hands. Yes, if they win out, and it's a pretty easy schedule, maybe the most, competitive game would be the SMU game, but their fate is taken out of their hands. If they run the table, they will still make the playoffs, but you don't like not being able to make the ACC championship. You still have a couple teams undefeated in the ACC right now, and Miami doesn't have a chance to play them. So Miami needs those teams to lose, but either way, you're still sitting fine. You're 5-1 halfway through the season. Just make sure to take care of business. They got no push on the offensive line. They got no push from their defensive front seven. Very concerning game. The first game where they got out physical this season, but like we said, everything's still in front of them. Just don't have another recap of that game. The next one was Nebraska, number 25, going down to Minnesota. Nebraska, this was the game they should have won on the road. Dylan Raiola, they were back in the top 25. They have a top 20 defense. They had a top 20 offense. They have Dana Holgerson calling plays. Matt Rule with all the off-field stuff going on about Penn State. I don't know if that sidetracked this team. I don't know what happened, but Dylan Raiola, the passing game, the running game wasn't getting it. How about Taylor for Minnesota, rushing for 150 yards here. Smith with 59 yards receiving. Give PJ Fleck some credit for winning this game. They always have a good defense. They always have a good run game. Play action was working beautifully. And now Minnesota's 5-2. Nebraska's 5-2. They have to rebound here. Now moving on to our Saturday game. Saturday, October 18th. Number 1, Ohio State. They finally, for once, gave up double-digit points for the first time last week. So you knew they were going to be pissed off here. That defense, the number 1 defense in the country, only giving up, 6.2 points a game. They definitely rebounded here. They beat Wisconsin 34-0. The defense gets another complete shutout. The number 1 defense in the country, great front seven, might be the best secondary, might be the best defensive front seven, saying 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 36 of 42. He's getting better, more comfortable in this Heartland scheme every single week. West, Jackson, the most talented wide receiver core in the nation. Ennis, Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and Wisconsin, Luke Fickell. It's going to be happening at some point, guys, but his seat's hot. He's probably going to be getting fired at some point. But with Miami going down, the Buckeyes have solidified themselves as easily the best team in the nation beyond any shadow of a doubt. The next one, number 3, Indiana at home, hosting Michigan State. They put it on Smith's team here. Obviously, Childs, not the best game for him. Indiana won this game easily, 38-13. They're going to be moving up here, 7-0 undefeated. It's setting up right now for a Big Ten championship matchup. The Buckeyes versus the Hoosiers, number 1 versus number 2. Mendoza continues to do what he does. They have a Surratt, a great wide receiver core. Cooper Jr. had a big game, 115 yards receiving, and they have a top 10 defense right now. Keep your eyes on the Hoosiers. The next game, number 4, the Texas A&M Aggies beating Arkansas at Arkansas, 45-42. I've had a lot of concerns. I said this was going to be a high-scoring game. Obviously, Bobby Petrino calling plays with Taylon Green at the quarterback position. He's someone who can throw for 300. He can run for 100. Texas A&M. Reed had another great game, 280 through the air, 3 touchdowns on the ground, but I'm very concerned about this A&M defense. Yes, they continue to win games, but this is 2 games they've given up over 40 points this season, and we're only halfway through the year. Yes, they're winning games. Yes, their offense is scoring, but if they play a team with a really good defense and a team that could score, let's talk about an Oregon, a Alabama, a Buckeyes team. they have shown no propensity to get any stops, especially on third downs here. You got to get that defense under control. The next game, number 5, Ole Miss on the road loses to number 9, the Georgia Bulldogs. This is one of our top 10 losses. Your Ole Miss put up a fight. They had this game in the fourth quarter, but they got shut down fourth quarter. What did they have? 20 yards the entire fourth quarter. Give Stockton some credit. That was the best we've seen him play this entire season. Stockton almost 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He's also a dual threat quarterback. He was extending plays with his legs, looking down the field. Branch, Young, big days through the air. Frazier, pretty decent day on the ground. I want to see Georgia run the ball just a little more with the ground and pound. That gives you the option to be able to control the pace of this game with these high-scoring shootouts. You want to slow the game down. But again, this is not a typical Georgia Bulldogs defense. Yes, they have 9 lives. They continue to find ways to win games. But Georgia, twice this season, has given up over 40 points. I know college football's changed a lot, but think of it. The Buckeyes have only given up 10 once this season. Some of these teams that are known for having defenses, they're getting into massive shootouts here. Kind of concerning, but either way, 6-1, great win for them at home. The next game, number 11, Tennessee going down to number 6, Alabama, 37-20. A lot of sloppy play from Joey Aguilar here. He was feeling the heat here, trying to play a catch-up to Bama. This was actually a pretty solid defensive performance from Alabama. The front seven played well. Secondary got some turnovers, but they played well with the lead, maintaining the lead. Special teams look good. And Ty Simpson continues to look like it's him, Mendoza, continue to be some of the front runners for the Heisman right now. This is a Kalen DeBoer team with Grubbs back as the offensive coordinator. They're vertically pushing the ball down the field. They didn't have a great rushing performance here. Alabama has struggled to run the balls for the season, only 120 rushing yards per game. But Tennessee, the number 1 offense in the nation coming into this game, they were not able to get it going at all because Alabama's defense, when it came up to make stops, they got stops and they also created a lot of turnovers. Tennessee could move the ball. They were dominating on the offensive side yardage-wise, but as they got closer to the red zone, play got sloppy. Give credit to Alabama. They were forcing the sloppy play. Bama looks like one of those dark horses right now. The Buckeyes are the number 1 team, but Alabama, with as talented as the roster is, keep your eye on this team. Then the next game, another top 10 team going down. Number 7, Texas Tech going down on the road to 5-2 Arizona State, 26-22. I don't want to knock Texas Tech here. Hammond had a pretty good game, but their starting quarterback, Morton, he was out here. They did not have their starting quarterback. Yes, they have a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They were able to keep this game close. They actually had the game won up to the very end of the fourth quarter, but they were going up against Sam Levitt. When it is on the line, this guy can do a little bit of everything. Simpson had another massive game, 105 yards through the air. Texas Tech, without Morton, that offense was definitely slowed down over 4 quarters. I don't want to look into it too much. Like I said, they didn't have their starting quarterback. Arizona State probably coming back into the top 25 soon. The next one, number 8, Oregon Ducks on the road versus Rutgers, wanting to make up to that loss versus Indiana. They definitely did so. Dante Moore looked great, 15-20, 290. They won 56-10. The offense dominated. The defense dominated. Whittingham got it going on the ground, 125 yards. Sadiq, no one can guard the tight end. Sadiq, 80 yards on 4 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and the defense flexed its muscles. Defensive line looked great. The offensive line looked great. They're the 3rd best team in the Big Ten right now. They're on a road. They have their path set in front of them to make the playoffs again, back-to-back seasons. Then another top 10 team going down. Number 10, LSU going down on the road to number 17, Vanderbilt, 31-24. I said so many times, LSU, that offense has been pathetic this season. Nussmeier, very talented wide receiver core, Thomas and weapons. They have so many weapons on this team. The offense can't throw it. They can't run it. Defense, year 2 under Blake Baker, looked much improved. They did not look improved this game. But obviously, where the Vanderbilt Commodores offense goes is wherever Diego Pavia goes. This guy's like 44 years old, still playing college football, but he is the offense, throwing it, running it. His grit has completely affected the entire team. They're following his lead. Leah has a great team here. This is a very talented team. They're a dark horse now to be competing in the SEC. Vanderbilt, second half of the season, top 10 win. Gotta love it. This is a great story. Props to them. You know they're climbing in the polls. LSU, 1 loss, and you are eliminated from playoff contention. Then after that, you had number 12, Georgia Tech beating Duke. This was a very close game, a lot closer than the score here because Duke, Manny Diaz, Mensa was doing everything this game. 32 of 44, 373 yards. They were able to throw it. Barkett, 172 yards receiving. Pretty good defensive team, really good offense. They got their first ACC loss here. That's going to benefit Miami because they won't have to worry about competing with Duke potentially. But with Georgia Tech, hey, they scored when they needed to score. They got turnovers when they needed to get turnovers. Brent Key here, talented coach with a talented roster led by Haynes King, who does everything on this team, just like Pavia. He's the guy who's going to throw it. He's the guy who's going to run it. Even though they have Haynes as a running back, a very talented ACC running back, it's King who's going to run it when it matters. 120 yards rushing, and they're physical rushes, putting his shoulder down, trucking people. I don't know if that's going to last over 12 games, but if they can stay undefeated, this is setting up for a beautiful Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Tech, Georgia Bulldogs game at the end of the season, final regular season game, and potentially matching up with one of the big wigs out of the ACC, maybe even a Miami in the ACC championship, and that would be a fun one here because Georgia Tech has had Miami's number the last couple seasons. After that, you had number 20 USC going down on the road to number 13 Notre Dame, 34-24. This game was a great game, fun game to watch. This was two elite offenses, two top 10 offenses facing off. This was Freeman versus Lincoln Riley. I say, in my personal opinion, Lincoln Riley, the best offensive mind in all of college football. But this Notre Dame offense, it's on a different level this season because Carr can actually throw it. Riley Leonard, not a passing quarterback last season. Carr's throwing it, but it was the rushing game, getting back to the way they were supposed to be this season. How about Love on the ground? 228 yards rushing on 24 carries, and I'm pretty sure Pierce had like 75 to 80 rushing yards himself. They just ran it down the Trojans' throat. Trojans coming off of out-muscling Michigan, showing they can compete at the line of scrimmage, not able to compete with Notre Dame. That was the toughest game left on Notre Dame's schedule. Don't forget, they already have 2 losses, both the top 10 teams, Miami and the Aggies here. They could not afford to lose another one. They can't get a third loss here. They have no conference championship. But if they run the table, finish 10-2 with 2 solid losses, they're going to be in the playoffs. This was their last real hurdle. Just no letdowns, guys, and you are in. The next game, number 14, Oklahoma, flexing their muscles versus 3-4 South Carolina. They won this one 26-7. Very boring game. John Mateer here. He needs some help, guys. The offensive line has to hold up. They have to get some push. The running game for Oklahoma. Yes, Blaylock had over 100 yards here, but for the most part this season, not able to run the ball. John Mateer's been the primary weapon in the running game. That's what got this guy hurt pretty much. I know he hurt his hand throwing, but that doesn't matter. It's the physical runs this guy takes in the brutal 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s. It's always the quarterback running. That's not going to sustain itself in the SEC. This wide receiver core also has to step up. But it's Brent Venables. They have a top 10 defense. Defense flexes muscles. They're 6-1 with probably the second most difficult schedule in the country next to the Florida Gators. After that, number 23, Utah going down to number 15, BYU. This is surprising, but not surprising. Utah, Kyle Whittingham, second longest tenured coach in the country. Great defense built at the line of scrimmage. Devin Dampier throwing it, running it. But how about BYU? Bachmar taking over. True freshman. Martin on the ground, 122 rushing yards. BYU at home, they won the Holy War. Great game, great Big 12 matchup. This was a line of scrimmage, Big 12 game. Both teams stepped up. Utah, they almost had it, but BYU took it away. They remain undefeated, 7-0 BYU after a 10-win season last year. After that, you had number 16, Missouri, squeaking one out versus Auburn. Auburn has so many close one-possession losses. What a rough year for them. They won this one 23-17, but the Tigers have a let me specify that. The Auburn Tigers have a very good defense. Missouri, Prabula, great game. He had 2 picks, but overall good game, throwing it, also running it on 3rd and short situations, extending plays. Penn State wishes they had Prabula, especially right now with Drew Waller. Auburn, they're going to win one of these games at some point. They're going to upset someone. They've played every team. Every game they lose to is a one-possession loss. At some point, they're going to get one, but they continue to struggle closing out games, especially at home. And after that, you had number 18, Virginia, holding off the upset-minded Washington State Cougars. They won 22-20. I said this week, don't underestimate Washington State. They almost just beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss. They are upset-minded, much better than their record is. They have no home. Their conference was dissolved. They're pissed off. Virginia almost lost this one, but they were able to hold on. They are 6-1 right now. Miami needs this team to lose at some point. Then you had 3-4 FAU getting the crap kicked out of them by number 19, the South Florida Bulls, 6-1, 48-13. Brown, he is this offense. 260 yards passing, 111 yards rushing. Alex Golis has a machine going right now. Their only loss was to Miami. That's a very good loss. The better South Florida does, the better Notre Dame does, it continues to prop up Miami because although they have to move Notre Dame up, they have to still keep them behind Miami because Miami beat them head-to-head, and Miami has one less loss than them. South Florida, with Memphis going down, is definitely the front runner right now for the group of 5 in the playoffs, and they get to play soon. After that, we have number 21, the Texas Longhorns beating Kentucky 16-13. This game was atrocious. Let's just call it what it is. Pathetic performance. I said last week, I hate seeing Arch Manning post up on people, act all pompous and everything. What have you done except beat lower tier Power 4 Division 2 teams, FCS teams, and then he wants to post up on people. 16-13 versus Kentucky. His stat line was awful. I hate the attitude, but whenever he plays a Power 4 team, that completely disappears because he puts off awful stats. 12 of 27, 132 yards passing versus Kentucky. I mean, come on, this is the worst team in the SEC. It's not even close. What a very bad performance. A win's a win. Take it as you will. But a lot of concerns for this Texas Longhorns offense. Arch Manning, they keep saying young guy. He's year 3 in the same system under Steve Sarkisian's system. The running game has to get going. They got the crap kicked out of them at the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, by the Kentucky Wildcats, with one of the worst offenses in the country. Boley outplayed him at the quarterback position. Boley, the leading rusher in this game. What happened to Wisner? What happened to that Texas run game from last week? Completely reverted back to what they've been this entire season. No wide receiver step up. Arch Manning can't hit anyone unless they are wide open. It is what it is. Thankfully for them, they have a top 5 overall roster. This is an extremely talented team. They're loaded at every single position with a top 10 extremely physical defense. But the fact they almost lost this game and they went into overtime versus Kentucky, we will keep saying it again, verse 2 and 4 Kentucky. Very concerning here. That third loss, it's coming somewhere on this schedule. It will come, and it will knock them out of playoff contention. After that, you had number 22, one of our top 25s, going down to UAB. They lost this one 31-24. They fired Trent Dilfer. They still beat Memphis. Memphis was flying in here, high-flying offense, high-flying defense. Everything was going good. Burton had a great game for UMB. Give the Blazers some credit here. They played a great game. They beat Memphis. And right now, South Florida, they are licking their chops. They're in sole position right now for the Group of 5 playoff spot. And they get to play Memphis. I'm pretty sure it's this coming weekend. After that, you had number 24, Cincinnati, doing what they do, controlling the Big 12, throwing it, running it. They had a great year from Sorsby. He had 270 yards passing, 33 touchdowns. What did he have? 17, 18 touchdowns so far this season. He has multiple touchdowns on the ground. He is a dual-threat quarterback. Defense is playing well. Luke Fickell, right now he's pissed off because he's like, man, I just should have stayed at Cincinnati. Things did not work out there. But they are continuing to add some depth here to the Big 12, beating the Mike Gundy-less Oklahoma State Cowboys. Guys, that's just a quick review, reaction, a breakdown of all of our top 25 games. It was a crazy week, but it showed us. It was week 8, week 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's going to bring more and more crazy upset top 25. Anything is up for grabs. The NIL has completely evened out college football. But we will say this. After this week, it's obvious Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country. But outside of that, and they might have a loss lurking somewhere on their schedule. That's the way college football is. Very hard to go undefeated. Guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. What do you think happened this weekend? Let me know what game stood out to you. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, click on the pinned comment below. Click on that link. Sign up there. I would appreciate it. And as always, thank you for watching.